Yeah, we're talking about change. Just things to consider as we talk about change. We talked the last video, we talked about the first 4 things to consider as we consider change. I wanted to talk about another 5 more, and I mentioned I had 9 different things to consider. And so as we continue on focusing on what to expect when we go through time of change. Number 5 is there's always unanswered questions. Where is this all going to end up? What's going to happen? What's the end results? And so sometimes there's so many unexpected questions and unanswered questions during the time of change because when you maybe, for an example, you're building a house, and you choose the colors, and you choose the layout of the house and everything, and so you say I have all the questions answered. This is the color of this room, this is the color of that room, and then I would ask you the question, will that color look good in that room? Or how will that color look in that room? How will that carpet look on that floor? And so you'd say, I have an answer for what I have in there, but I can't tell you how it's going to look. And those are the kind of questions that are often there because you make a plan, you share the plan, you share the vision, you share the direction, and you say, I think we got all the questions answered, yet there's questions that we can't answer. Sometimes we travel to a different country. I book the flight, I choose the city, I choose the hotel, and yet when we get there, there's many things that I could not have had an answer for. And yet that makes people uncomfortable because in our already built house, the house we're living in, I can tell you what that color looks like on the wall. Not only can I tell you, I can show you. I can tell you what that carpet looks like on that floor, or all those things. I have those answers, and I can not only tell you, I can show you. Now, if we go into change, I can't show you. I cannot even tell you some things, and so I can tell you this is the direction we're going, this is the destination that's planned, but there is always unanswered questions. Whenever change happens, there's unanswered questions, and so that is difficult. People, they want answers for every part because it is a matter of security, it's a matter of belonging, it's a matter of safety, all those things. And so we have to consider that there always will be unanswered questions. And so that is why a lot of people don't come to Christianity, because they want all the questions answered. And I say, come inside and I'll show you. Come inside and you'll see. Come inside and you'll experience. Some things can't be answered. And we're going to struggle with that as we preach the gospel. People are going to come up and they're going to ask questions. You say, I don't have an answer for that. But trust me, it's going to be good. Trust me, you're going to enjoy. Trust me, you're going to experience the love of God and the blessings of God and the favor of God and the leadership of God. And you can go on and on and on, but maybe that's that one question that they have and they don't come to God because of that one question. I was just hearing about someone lately, because of one small little question, they threw out the entire thing. That's what happens when we experience change. People, they want that answer for that one little question. And some people they like the mystery and the unknown, but the other people don't, and many people don't. And so, but there will always be questions, unanswered questions. Number 6, there's a more intensified spiritual battle. As you read the Bible, and especially as you read about Jesus Christ, there was never as an intense spiritual battle until Jesus brought about change. You see very little spiritual tension taking place even during the beginning of when Jesus Christ started coming around, until he started ministering and introducing the difference between the old covenant and the new covenant. The spiritual battle intensified, and ugly heads arose everywhere, and possessed people and destroyed people. And the religious crowd, they jumped on that and they mocked at that. And of course, Nicodemus didn't, praise the Lord. But he was struck with curiosity, like, what is this all about? But such great change in the religious world, and the spiritual battle intensified. And so it was just very, very real, very strong, very intense. I mean, people had dreams, people had visions, people had battles. It's just an intensified spiritual battle. That's exactly what will happen during time of change. And so whether that's in a religious world, even in the secular world, the devil don't want people to change. He wants to slowly blend them into not thinking, just kind of fade away. Don't have an opinion, don't have an idea, just kind of fade into my system. He doesn't want them to think, he doesn't want them to examine, he doesn't want to see what's going on. And so a much more intensified spiritual battle you'll experience. If you go through change, keep this in mind. If you lead change, even in a much greater way. But even if you follow in change, you will experience a much more intensified spiritual battle. And you'll say, boy, I never experienced this before. I never been so tense, whatever you're changing from, and I already given a number of examples. Number 7, more intensified feelings of loneliness and insecurity. Roots are being pulled up. Security is removed. And so when you go through change, you experience loneliness. You question, like, should I have gone? Maybe you left friends and moved into a new place. You're moving from one company to another company. Someone always said good morning to you, and now it's gone. And you don't hear anything. Someone always met you for lunch. Now the person's not there. And so there's a more of a feeling of loneliness, and on the inside you're going to feel empty. And there's a feeling of insecurity. When you're on your home territory, when you're in a place where you've been for the last 20 years, you're secure. You run around the corners without looking. You back up without looking back. You jump over a fence without looking the other side, because it's all familiar territory. All of a sudden, you feel so lonely and you feel so insecure. That's going to happen during time of change. That is just the way it is. And so people don't like to be lonely. There is such a loneliness in the world, especially this last year. So many people have experienced such intense loneliness and such intense insecurity because of the change. And so we have to keep in mind that change will bring intensified feelings of loneliness and insecurity. And so even brave men, secure people, secure ladies go through it, and all of a sudden, boy, they're so lonely. And they sometimes even do things that they naturally wouldn't do, because the fight for social connections and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, they'll pick up friends they say, I wouldn't have anything to do with that person, the bad character, bad influence. And now all of a sudden, people compromise and everything to feed that loneliness. And so we have to be careful that we stay protected, and that we don't throw away what God has established in our lives. Number 8, a deeper examination of the teaching and a more personal, of our personal faith, what we believe. We're really going to question what we believe during the time we go through change. whether we are Christians or whatever belief we have, if we go through a time of change, we're going to examine, we're going to have a deeper examination of everything that we believed, everything that we did. I remember going through a change in how it changed on how I studied the Bible, where I used to sometimes just kind of gloss over a word, where now I would examine that word and look at the definition, and was this actually right, what I believed here and what I said about these things and what I was teaching about it, and how I applied that to my life. Was that actually right? And so I examined my faith so deeply and so intensely during this time of change. And so our belief is everything is going to be kind of up for question, and we're going to question. Even sometimes we're going to, if we're believers, Christians, we're going to question our own salvation during time of change. Because all of a sudden, we're looking in things so much more intensely, and people are questioning, people are judging, and all of a sudden we're going to say, boy, am I really a believer? Am I really a Christian? Was I actually right about what I believed? And so there's going to be a deeper examination of the teaching and of the personal faith, what we believe. And so that is going to be an experience, what you have. And then I want to finish with number 9, and something I think it's very important: more spiritual results than at any other time. When we look at the history of the world, when was revivals taking place? When was there a great harvest of souls? I mean, when were the churches filling and stuff like that? There was never spiritual results like it was during the time of change. And so that's why change sometimes needs to take place, because people get in their groove, in their routine, in their church, in their faith, in their religion, in their system, in their culture, in their customs, in their tradition, in their job, in their, routine throughout their lives. People, and all of a sudden change takes place. And all of a sudden, maybe I need to consider God. That's happening a lot these days. People are saying, maybe I need to consider God. Because what they knew, what they felt comfortable, has been stripped away. There's never more spiritual results than during time of change. When I jump back to one of them that I mentioned, there's always casualties. But there is always so much fruit that comes forth from change. And so we have to keep that in mind. Change is a wonderful thing. It ripens the fruit. It brings forth the fruit. There is never a fruit like during the time of change. And so we must rejoice in that. And we must use that to the fullest. Don't let change go by without harvesting a harvest, without pulling the fruit thereof and using the fruit thereof. Why change and not take out what that change produces? There's never results like there are during time of change. I hope that will be a blessing to you. God bless you, and thank you very much.